Hello and welcome. My name is George and this is The One. As a Canadian on an extended stay here in Mexico, I would like to share some of the issues I've been dealing with flying my drone down here in Puerto Vallarta. You'll find that some of these issues aren't even Mexico issues at all, but I'll be sharing toward the end of the video how I've been dealing with them, and you may find it useful too. And of course, then you can judge for yourself how well it worked. I'm posting my best clips to Pond 5 where they're available for download. There's a link down below in the description. Most of the stuff I recorded down here will be restricted for editorial use. That's because there are so many recognizable buildings and I have no way of getting property releases for them all. This could actually be problem number one. How do you get property releases when you're flying in populated area because there are so many landmarks and things on there? And flying in populated areas is pretty much all I've been doing down here. Next major issue, and I know some of you will shake their heads, but as a foreigner here in Mexico, the only way to fly here legally is to operate a drone that weighs less than 250 grams. The Mini 2 is pretty awesome, and much of the footage I recorded here is flawless. But I kind of miss flying my bigger drone because, for one, it has a much better camera with a better dynamic range, so the footage typically turns out better, and it's also much more powerful and more stable in the air, which could be important. So you could say that the next two issues I'll be talking about aren't really Mexico issues at all, but they are issues about the Mini 2. Now, if you have a DJI Mini 3 or a Mini 4, let me know if these are really a lot better than the Mini 2 in comparison, because I'm interested. You know, at some point, I might be due for an upgrade, and I'd like to know how much better these newer offerings actually are. See, Puerto Vallarta is on the ocean, and much of the time you have very windy conditions. And when you're flying the Mini 2 in the wind, often the horizon will just be way off. This gets worse when you're kind of circling around a point of interest because the angle at which the wind will hit the drone changes throughout the duration of the clip, and with that, the horizon will also change. How can you edit that? Another problem is the sunshine. Did I say that sunshine is a problem? Well, it's because the light is so harsh that most of the time the highlights will be overexposed to the point that they're completely washed out, completely white, can't get them back, and the shadows will be the opposite. The detail in the shadows will completely disappear in the black. You probably know about these issues if you have a DJI Mini 2 yourself and have been flying it for a while. Now, you could probably get away with flying an Air 2S here, which is heavier, but you'd have to register it, and, well, even if you could get away with it because the enforcement here is not strict, I see myself as a visitor here in Mexico, and I'm actually really grateful for the way I've been treated here, and I think the least I can do is inform myself and comply with the Mexican aviation regulations. If you're interested what's in those regulations, I got a video for that and it's up there right now. Watch this, and even better, just read up on it yourself. What do I do about the Mini 2 related issues, and how do I deal with it in order to get top-notch footage with this drone? Well, here are some examples on how I edited the footage to look its best. I developed a little bit of a routine process for editing my footage, usually starting off with the color balance. I don't leave it on automatic, but I click on white balance. Now it lets me choose a point in the footage that I think should be pure white. In order to find that better, I enlarge the picture. Here's the top of a boat that I think should be white. And now I go back to the way it fits, and I like it, but now I'm applying a preset to pop those sunset colors. As you can see by the color wheels, this lowered the exposure, but now the problem is that I'm losing detail in my shadows, and if you could see it here, I just got rid of that problem by adjusting it until the underexposure warning on my screen has disappeared or is only minimally visible. Now I still have to adjust the horizon. I can do that by selecting a spot in the clip where it's about average and then turning it, and what's there to help me are these grid lines. This of course requires me to crop the picture until there are no more black lines at the top or the bottom or the side of the picture, and that you have to be really careful because the display on Final Cut Pro is small. And it's happened to me before that you could still see the line even after I was convinced that it was gone. See, here I'm stretching it. There you go. Now I can see top corner, bottom corner. Yeah, it all looks good. Save it like this. Now at this point, I'm almost happy with it. But perhaps I can boost up the midtones a little bit to pop the colors in the foreground. There's no right or wrong here. You just play with it until you like it. Finally, I get out of the color inspector and I stabilize the clip. Sometimes when the clip was taken at a high ISO, I might also denoise it in order to make it look better. But that's pretty much it, guys. Definitely check your settings before saving it. Give it a name, and there you go. See, I'm not perfect though, so if you feel you have a better way, feel free to comment and share your tricks so we can all learn from each other. Okay, this video wouldn't be complete without a word about birds. There are a lot of birds here. The pelicans, the seagulls, the pigeons, you name them. Most of them I don't even know what they're called, but bird strikes are a possibility. And how do you prevent bird strikes? Well, just recently I found out that it's a reflective strip on top of my drone, actually repels birds. It keeps them away from your drone. There's another YouTuber that explained that when he first tried this, it really made a big difference. Now, I wouldn't really know without him because my drone had this from day one, because I thought, well, if I ever have to look for it or something, then this will help me find it. But it actually seems to be the remedy for bird problems. So this is pretty much it for this video. If you found it useful or even entertaining, give me a thumbs up. And by the way, I have this goal now, I'm trying to get 1,000 subscribers for this channel and 4,000 hours of watch time. What you can do to help me is share this video with all your friends. And if you haven't done so yet, subscribe to my channel. I thank you for that. And I'll see you in the next video. Happy flying.